Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Swanee, and I'm yet again joined by my friend Cookie. And for today's Helldivers 2 update, there's quite a bit of drama in the community that's popped up in the past 24 hours that we have to talk about. We're going to go over the results of the latest community poll, and we'll give you an update on the latest major order. So Cookie, why don't you update us on that first?
So as of now, there are only 2 days left in the major order, and Turing has just been taken, so it has just been liberated. So now there is only one planet left to be liberated before the major order is complete, and that is Errata Prime. There hasn't been much liberation on Errata Prime as of yet, but more than likely you would think with the weekend coming up it should be enough time for the Helldivers to complete this major order in time. But as we'll talk about later with all the drama and stuff, we'll see if that has any effect going into the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, one, this major order's against the Terminids, and two, we are going into the weekend, and there's 2 days left, so I feel like we're probably going to get this major order completed.
And on top of that, there is a personal order as always, and this one is pretty easy. You just have to kill 4 Chargers. Very, very easy to find Chargers, in case you didn't know that. Pretty much anytime you play against the Terminids, there'll be tons of Chargers to choose from. I'd recommend a Quasar Cannon, or if you really want to make it easy, maybe a Rail Cannon Strike, and just throw a bunch of Rail Cannon Strikes Chargers until they're all dead.
Yeah, you can get this done in one match in no time. So next up, Helldivers 2 had this post that has caused quite a bit of stir in the community. Before we get into that, let's talk about today's sponsor, Factor. Factor meals arrive pre-prepared and ready to eat in just 2 minutes, which is perfect for busy lifestyles. And with Factor, your meal is delivered fresh, never frozen, straight to your door. Just heat, eat, and enjoy. And Factor meals can be heated in the oven or microwaved in just minutes. I personally really enjoy Factor because it cuts down on my trips to the grocery store, which ends up saving me a ton of money by the end of each month. Another thing that I really like about Factor is that it gets me to try different foods that I wouldn't normally eat. I recently tried the vegan mushroom Marcella, fully expecting not to like it, but it ended up being one of my favorites so far. And if you'd like to get Factor for yourself, just head over to factor75.com or click the link below and use code SWANEEPLAYS50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. That's code SWANEEPLAYS50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month of orders. And thank you, Factor, for sponsoring today's video. Now back to the video. Alright, so Helldivers 2 had this post that went out last night, and it has caused a ton of backlash in the community. People are talking about it on Reddit. It's all people are talking about on the Discord. So Cookie, why don't you go over this controversial post for us?
So the post says, "Attention Helldivers, due to technical issues at the launch of Helldivers 2, we allowed the linking requirements for Steam accounts to a PlayStation Network account to be temporarily optional. That grace period will now expire." It goes on to say that this is our main way to protect players from griefing and abuse by enabling the banning of players that engage in that type of behavior, and also says, as such, as of May 6th, all new Helldivers 2 players on Steam will be required to connect their Steam account to a PlayStation Network account. Current players on Steam will start to see the mandatory login from May 30th and will be required to have linked a Steam and PlayStation Network account by June 4th. And it says, "We understand this may be an inconvenience to some of you. This step will help us to continue to build a community that you are all proud to be a part of. Many thanks for your continued support of Helldivers 2, Sony Interactive Entertainment."
And yeah, this did not go over well for a number of different reasons. Like, if you take a look at the Reddit, it is just full of memes. Like, there's just nothing but people making fun of Sony. I think my favorite meme of the bunch is just a new picture of the Galactic War map, and Sony's coming in from the bottom as like the new bad guy. I thought that one was pretty funny. There's also this post that says, "Why are you like this?" It says, "Video game publishers coming up with the worst decision known to man when they see a game which is actually good." Then we have this post that says, "For the shareholders," it says, "the community making a PSN account mandatory to play a game after it's been out for 3 months and nobody can refund it." And then it says the devs are like, "New war bond."
Yeah, and that kind of brings up one of the many issues that make this timing really, really bad. There's still a lot of people upset about the last patch. Going straight into this bad news, too, is only going to infuriate the community that much more. And yeah, nobody cares about the war bond with all of those other things going on. So yeah, this is some very strange timing, too. And of course, with the Discord lighting up with all kinds of complaints, the community managers on Discord have also been very active recently. And one of them, Spitz, went on to respond to some of the criticism by saying, "It's not like this is the first or even the 14th strength mainstream game to require a third-party account that takes a couple minutes to create, but if it's a deal breaker to have to take 120 seconds out of your day to enter an email and password and then forget about it, change your Steam review and make your displeasure known on a platform where it matters. And a lot of people took that advice to heart and went straight to the Steam reviews and review bombed the crap out of Helldivers 2, because in the last just couple of hours, it's been 89% bad reviews since this news broke. That's pretty impressive, considering this game's had almost very, very minor negative reviews for the longest time, but then all of a sudden, around May 3rd, a crap ton of them. So they took his advice.
Oh yeah, if you just scroll through the most recent reviews, it's nothing but people just not very happy.
Spitz also commented with a picture showing one of the panels on Steam, saying, "This panel has been unchanged since the game was listed on Steam, and making an account with an email or password in 5 minutes to link it and forget about it forever really isn't a huge deal, to be honest." So he's kind of reinforcing this isn't a big deal, and also that he thinks people should have seen this coming because it's been there since the game came out, which I'm sure it has. I'm not saying he's lying about that, but no one pays attention to that. And I think Spitz should know that. I think this is just the best they can do to try to, downplay this situation, but it's definitely not working. I think it's probably just making people more upset.
Yeah, this is basically them like saying, well, everyone should know it was on page 7 of the terms and service. Like, you just gotta go looking for it. Like, you should have known better. And no one does that. Like, when I buy games on Steam, I don't look in the details to see if I have to make an account like a month later. But basically, the fan base is put into like multiple categories. You have like me and you, which are just slightly inconvenienced. Like, we both own PlayStation accounts. Like, we can just link it. It'll take, 20 minutes if we have to go through the whole process of you forgot your password and you can't use one that you already used, and it'll just be an inconvenience for us. But then there's the group of people that don't have PlayStation accounts. They don't own a PlayStation. They've never had a reason to make a PSN account, and now suddenly they have to make one just to play Helldivers after they've already gone multiple months without needing to do so. That's pretty messed up, and rightfully those people are very upset. But then you have a whole nother section of the community that's going to completely lose access to the game because they don't have PlayStation Network in their country. So there's tons of players that are in countries that are just not going to be able to play Helldivers 2. So Steam sold them the game, and then they're basically just removing access to the game for those players. And I would be very furious if I was one of those people.
There has been a response by Twinbeard to this to some extent. He was responding to a comment asking, why would you guys do this? And, what are you going to do about the region issue? He said, first of all, it's Sony's decision, not ours. Secondly, we don't have all the details about region-related issues yet. We're chasing Sony to get more info. I don't think that's going to offer a lot of comfort to people in these region situations because it doesn't sound like they even thought about this problem, which is concerning, at least from my perspective of reading that. But I would think that this is the part that there's no way they're going to let that happen. I would think they have to fix that because that's completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff like, give me my money back then. If you're going to make the game unplayable after I've been playing it for months, that would be a complete travesty if they allow that. So I hope for those players' sakes, that's not going to be a thing that's going to last. But I don't know. This is kind of unheard of. I've never heard of a game this late into playing suddenly making you do something with accounts and stuff. Maybe I'm naive to this, but this seems very unusual.
Yeah, it's definitely odd. I think one of the main reasons that so many people were upset is because people were rooting for Helldivers 2. There hasn't been any scumminess, no AAA game scumminess that's bled into Helldivers up to this point, and people loved that this game was popular. It was, they were treating the fans fairly, and people were getting behind this game and propping it up on a pedestal of like, hey, this game doesn't have those issues that all the other modern games has. And now they're hitting us with the, oh, by the way, you gotta go make a PSN account. And people, it leaves a sour taste in your mouth.
Yeah, I think if this had happened at the inception of Helldivers, I do think this probably wouldn't be viewed as such a big deal. It would still for the region stuff, because then they'd be like, well, I'm not playing this game. But for which, I mean, would be a big deal. They'd lose a lot of players. But as far as like the average player, we'd be like, well, this is stupid, this is annoying, but fine, I'll do it, and then not think about it. But the fact that it's happening 3 months after the game came out does make it a lot worse. That's kind of why it's so much bigger of a deal. And I understand the communities, why, you know, some of them are really, really upset about this. I am very curious, though, if this will translate to just a lot less people playing. Like I mentioned in the major order, is this actually going to translate? Because this also is really bad timing. Like I talked about, we just had that patch that got everybody really pissed, and now they have this too. This is a lot of growing disdain. I'm not sure whether we're going to see that reflected in player numbers or not. We'll find out pretty quickly with this recent major order to see if they finish it or not.
Yeah, just in our past couple videos alone, I've been seeing a huge influx of people like, oh, they nerfed my favorite weapon, I'm never going to play this again. I hate that they changed the game so much. So there was already an influx of players that were not happy in this latest update, and now they're just adding fuel to the fire. And yeah, I mean, like, there was this Reddit post says, I guess this is goodbye, level 90 Helldiver, and it says PlayStation Network is not available in the Philippines. So like, that person's going to lose access to playing Helldivers after they invested so many hours. Like, reaching level 90 is no easy feat. That's a lot of playtime. And then poof, it's gone. So I feel like with all this backlash, Sony's going to do something. I mean, with all these negative reviews, that's going to turn off new players. And if people start to leave the game, I feel like Sony's going to have to do something. That I feel like they're probably going to reverse this decision, at least hopefully. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
And literally, as we were recording this, the CEO of Arrowhead spoke up and tweeted this saying, hey everyone, in regards to account linking and questions there too, please reference this PlayStation link. If you have any further questions, you can reach out using the contact PlayStation support at the bottom of the page. It doesn't seem like a real big deal of a tweet. However, I have a feeling this is because the Discord community managers and the devs that are getting contact, and some of it not kind, are probably sick of it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of hate pointed towards the developers specifically, which is never good. We had Spitz who responded to some of that hate. He said, if you dislike the requirement to link your account, you're more than welcome to change your Steam review to negative or do whatever it takes to make that dislike known. But attacking the Arrowhead devs, the community team, our moderators, or any other person who has no control or input into that change isn't going to help anyone. So, you know, obviously a lot of players have been directly attacking these developers, saying like, hey, why are you doing this? You're ruining the game for me. Like, and the devs have no say in this whatsoever. So don't go attacking the devs. This is a Sony decision. This probably has something to do with that contract they have with Sony. I mean, they're forced to pump out a war bond every single month because of that tie-in with Sony. So this is definitely a Sony related issue. And you can see that from the CEO directly saying, hey, go voice your opinions at this support forum.
And secondly, what Twinbeard said, like, this is Sony's decision, pretty clearly not theirs. So they really don't have anything to do with this. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Sony does, because this backlash is pretty extreme, and I wonder if they would consider going back on this. I don't think they will, just from my limited experience of Sony, but it'd be interesting to see if they do, because there's an incredible amount of backlash here.
This is no joke, and this is definitely going to affect the player numbers in some way, shape, or form. If they do absolutely nothing and they keep it the way that it is, that's guaranteed to at least cut out tens of thousands of players that are just going to lose access because they don't have PlayStation in their countries. So no matter what, this is going to negatively affect the player base.
And I've never heard of a game being taken away from someone who bought it for no other reason than, you have to have this account now, so now you don't have access to this game. I don't even know if that's legal. So I don't know how they're going to pull that situation. They have to fix that, I think. But yeah, if they don't fix that, the game might die. That's the kind of thing that could kill the game if it's not available in entire regions. So there was another tweet from the CEO actually while I was in the process of editing this video. It says, ouch, right in the review score. Well, I guess it's warranted. Sorry everyone for how this all transpired. I hope we'll make it up and regain the trust by providing a continued great game experience. I just want to make great games. This is particularly interesting. First off, I love this for an apology tweet. Just from a personal perspective, it sounds very genuine. Sounds like he's really kind of bent up up about this and feels unfortunate about how it all transpired. But at the same time, it's also weird this coming from the Arrowhead CEO when basically it's not their fault. But I can understand them still feeling sorry for it in the first place anyway. And it just kind of goes to show how this has all been a really disappointing experience for everybody involved. And it sounds like Arrowhead may have been either dreading this situation coming or it just suddenly popped up on their plate out of nowhere. But either way, was not handled very well. And just like the CEO, I really hope this doesn't completely ruin the game for everybody. But definitely that region thing is the most vital of everything. That has to get fixed or else it will ruin the game. So hopefully all goes well.
And then to close out the video, I want to briefly go over the community polls that just ended. They asked which warbond had your favorite weapons overall, and it looks like the Helldivers Mobilize came out just barely on top over the Democratic Detonation. And then the second poll says which warbond had your favorite armors overall, and that one wasn't that close at all. The Helldivers Mobilize just blew everything else away.
Yeah, I can't say this is very surprising. We both kind of expected that Helldivers Mobilize and Democratic Detonation would be the ones to do the best, because Helldivers Mobilize is like 3 times bigger than the other warbonds, so more than likely you're going to have better armor and better weapons. And Democratic Detonation is the most recent, so people remember it better. Recency bias. So I don't know that they're going to learn a lot from this.
No.
I'm kind of surprised they even put Helldivers Mobilize in there. It also was free. It came with the game.
I mean, how shocking. Like, oh boy, the players love the biggest warbond that happened to be free and gave you the most content. Like, of course they're going to choose that option. But either way, if you were curious about the results, that's what the community voted on. But all right, that is going to do it for everything in today's update video. Let us know what you guys think of this big Sony change down in the comment section down below. Are you affected by this change? Is this a big deal to you or not a big deal at all? And if you're one of those players that is in a region that doesn't have access to the PlayStation Store, let us know what your guys' thoughts are on this whole ordeal. I'm definitely interested to see what you guys think about this the most. But that is going to do it for us, guys. If you're new here, please consider hitting the subscribe button and hitting the bell for notifications. That way you don't miss out on any future Helldivers 2 videos. Consider hitting the like button if you enjoyed this video. It helps us out in the algorithm. And thank you again to Factor for sponsoring today's video, and we will talk to you guys next time.